Poetry Center, bringing poetry to Patterson since 1980 at Passaic County Community College.
Before I introduce the next poet, though I forgot to do this before, and I'm ashamed to say that, Charlie Moseler, who was a very well-known fixture in the New Jersey poetry scene and the New Jersey jazz scene, passed away on January 1st. And I wanted to dedicate this reading to him because he tried so hard for poetry and spent so much time trying to build audiences for poetry and to make poetry such an enormous part of his own life and the lives of other people that I thought it was fitting to dedicate the reading to him. And also, today they're having a memorial for him in at the, I've forgotten the name of the place, in Woodridge. Help. At the Barron Art Center in Woodridge, and I couldn't be there myself, but I hope that we can all be there in spirit to wish that he has found poetry in the other world. Our next reader is Sandra Gash, and Sondra grew up in Patterson, New Jersey. Her newly published book of poems, Silk Elegy, tells the story of a young girl from an immigrant family whose life is disrupted by a mentally ill mother. Her poems have appeared in many publications, including the New York Times, Calyx, the Patterson Literary Review. A recipient of fellowships from the New Jersey State Council on the Arts for both fiction and poetry, YADU, the Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation, the Virginia Center for the Arts. She won first prize in the Allen Ginsberg Poetry Awards. She has taught at Rutgers University and teaches creative writing and coordinates the poetry program at the Women's Resource Center in Summit, New Jersey. Let's welcome Sandra Gash.
This is a wonderful honor, and I want to thank Maria for being an incomparable force for poetry and for Patterson. For me, being here has a special meaning because this is my hometown, and Silk Elegy is a poem in which Patterson is a character. The father in this story is a silk worker in the mills at the turn of the century. He's a dyer, he's a weaver, he's a loom fixer. The opening poem in the book laments the loss of Patterson as the Silk City it once was. Now the river is still. No boats, no soaring birds, no churning wheels. Down a path into the injured heart, rows of bars, chain link fences that guard vacant lots. On Market Street, in the museum, silk, locked under glass. Kimonos and shawls, mandarin coats with cut iron sleeves, Patterson jacquard, ribbon and lace. The history of silk pinned to the wall. Along Spruce, up near the falls, boarded windows, empty mills. No thread, no spools, no whirring looms. A faded sign, Silk City dying. The central character, Faye, is 14 years old, and although she would like to go on to school, she becomes involved in helping and taking care of her mother, who is, as Maria said, mentally ill. And the poem, there are a couple of voices, Lena, the mother, Faye the daughter, Morris the father. Faye, a turban of handkerchiefs. All the time, Mama's headaches. She lives under turbans. I help her wrap them. Hot, wet handkerchiefs rolled and twisted, a wobbly crown on her head. In her bedroom, day folds into night. Even at noon, Mama hides under the covers. Shh, close the door. I need quiet. Pull down the shades. I need dark. But even the quiet, not quiet enough. Even the dark, not dark enough. On the curb. Sometimes I find her stretched out on the curb. She talks to strangers, rolls down her thick lisle stockings. Look at my purple veins, so splotched and knotted. On the boat crossing over, we buried Daniel, our firstborn. Then here, our little Rachel. She must be so cold in that tiny coffin, wearing such a thin nightshirt. Have you seen her? Ah, look who's here, my girl Faye. I take Mama home. Papa says her loose-fitted soul won't stay in its socket. Sometimes the mother has rhapsodic moments. Dancing with gypsies. A hot summer night on the porch. The only sounds the shy squeak of the glider. Fireflies tapping the screen. Mama rocks back and forth, to hold her dress pulled up on her thighs, stockings rolled to her ankles. When I was young, she croons, I danced with gypsies on the hills of Odessa. The boys wore silk pantaloons. The girls, gauze skirts with tiny mirrors stitched into the cloth. Indigo, saffron, magenta. A boy with dusky eyes sat on the riverbank strumming a mandolin. I came near. He touched my cheek. Your skin's like silk, he said. His name was Magic. Mama stares at the trees, then starts to sing. Tumbala, 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 laika. Tumbala, 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 laika. A breeze climbs to the 4th floor, grazing my seersucker gown. Mama spritzes seltzer from the cloud blue bottle. Faye, she says, marry someone who will lift you, let you breathe beneath the covers. Faye wants to go on to school. Her mother won't let her, so she runs off on the first day. School auditorium, first day, West Side High. We're in the assembly singing the Star-Spangled Banner when she opens the door and cries out, Fayla, school's not for girls. I need you at home. Heads turn, voices stop. The velvet curtain sways on the stage. Mama, wearing the handkerchief turban and Papa's coat over her nightgown, totters down the aisle, calling out vows like a wind-up bride. I want you, Faye. I want you at home. The girls near me giggle. My teacher glares. I swing around, stumble over feet in my row, take Mama's hand and lead her up the aisle, whispering, shh, Mama, shh, we're leaving. We're going home. The compact. I find it rolled up in her nightgown, glazed cloisonne, blackberries etched on the lid. Beneath the clasp, Mama's scented face powder sprinkled over the mirror. I clear a space with my finger, and she's here, in my cheeks, my dark curls, the same eyes, green as her jade healing stones. Mama thinks she's in Odessa, but she's weaving dreams in the asylum. She's told me so many stories that sometimes I think I've been there. And so many times she's told me I come from a long line of rhapsodic women. Lena is in the asylum and Morris goes to visit her. Asylum conversation. My name is Rusak. I want it back. I want the house with blue minarets. There's nothing left there, Lena. You fled Odessa when you were a girl. Look through the window, Morris. Ima is lifting a pear from the bowl, holding it up to the light. The pear is her jewel. Does she forget how her father hid her in a closet before the Cossacks set her family on fire? Does she forget how their cries burned through the window? Do you know you're a Bronsky now, Lena? Do you know who I am? Yes, Morris, you are my husband, the warmth on the sill when the sun goes down. And I will end with the last poem in the book, which was inspired by reading an art book and seeing that primitive women discovered the art of dyeing silk when an indigo leaf fell into the pool where they were washing their clothes. Everything turned blue. Dyeing silk. The women are dyeing indigo, heads wrapped in turbans. They bend to bowls of crushed leaves, pour water over ash. From sun up to sun down, they soak cloth. Dye stains their fingers. Even their lips have a bluish cast. Their arms turn blue when they lift the silk from the cool bath. Lift and ring, lift and ring. The women are singing. They have learned to unravel light. All afternoon, shimmering silk dries in the sun. The women stand in bare feet, folding cloth into bundles, tying threads. Their hips ache as dusk fades into night. They stitch robes, mend ragged seams, cradle their young in indigo shawls. Everything rinsed with the print of their hands, dipped in the blue bowl of their secrets, everything found in the language of silk. Thank you.